don't know what this is, Jay Williams, Let's Live Life, and we're back. Prison gangs, gang fights, what you can expect. Gangs fighting other gangs, gangs fighting themselves, gangs fighting everybody. Gangs versus the prisons. Y'all know I done seen it. You know I done lived through it, so let's relive it. Y'all see we got Big Max in the back. Had to put him in the back seat. Tried to do this video a minute ago, but he completely took over to the point that I no longer existed. So we're back at it. Early on in me doing time, you talking back in the 90s, as a teen, gangs were around, but it wasn't that serious. Then I get to a point where I'm going to jail, then I start seeing the gangs. Years progress, and you see more and more of the gangs. Now you've made it to the big leagues. You have reached your pinnacle as a criminal. You are now in prison. You're going to see the gangs. And before everybody says, not here, that wouldn't happen here, I'm speaking on VA, the place where I stay, the place that I call home. As soon as you get to prison, you're going to notice one thing, and you're going to notice this real fast. There are a lot of gangs. You're going to see them walking in large groups. You're going to see them throwing their setup. You're going to see them, you know, doing certain handshakes, certain call-outs. And that lets you know who they are. That's their way of addressing their homeboys or whoever's in their gang, right? Every gang is different. Every gang's got a different, you know, set of signs, different calls. It's all different. I thought that it was going to be like you see on TV. It's going to be like Bloods versus Crips. You know, Latin Kings versus this, or, you know, GDs versus this. Couldn't be further from the truth. I did not see many situations here in VA where it was one gang versus another. One thing I did see a lot of were the gangs preying on certain people. If you're weak, someone that can't fight, someone that won't fight, someone that people know they can take advantage of, the gangs are going to have a field day with you. I remember we had a situation. I got a bunch of good stories for y'all today. We had a situation at the last prison I was at where a guy owed the gangs a whole bunch of money. He owed these blood dudes all this money. Store boxing, meaning he was, you know, borrowing food till store day, marked up at a higher price. I'm going to give you 2 bags of coffee. You're going to give me back 4 on store day. Or I'm going to give you 5 sodas. You can give me back 9 on store day. He had ran up this huge bill. And in the pod we were living in at the time, it was a lot of Bloods. And they ran the store boxes. It's time to pay. He can't pay. He knows there's so many of them. When I mean so many of them, we're talking at this place, couple hundred. He knows that if he can't pay, it's going to be bad. They're going to take everything from him. He could possibly get stabbed. 100% going to get stomped. And they had some big dudes, man. Store day rolls around. He can't pay, or he ain't trying to pay, whatever the situation may be. He goes to the guards and tells them his situation. We're thinking he's going to go to the hole. He's checking in. They're going to get him gone. He'll probably get shipped. It's not what they do. They take and move him to another building. A building right next to our building. Sitting about 70 feet away. 2 other complete dorms in this building. He moves all his belongings, his sheets, everything out of his locker, his commissary, all that stuff to this new building, right? We know it's not over. He knows it's not over. He knows he's got to walk the same yard with these dudes. And when we go to rec, you go out the back door of the building, and there's three small buildings on this side of the yard. All those doors open at the same time. A lot of these doors stay open, and guys are coming in and out, going out to the rec yard. If somebody wants to get you in another building, all they got to do is walk over to that one, walk to the back door, walk right up to your bunk and get you. Well, they put him in a bunk all the way at the front of the dorm, right there in front of the control booth. Didn't have a top bunk. This was just a single bunk. He's feeling safe. Like, man, I'm right here in view of the officers. Ain't nothing nobody can do to get to me. If they do get to me, they're going to get caught. So he wouldn't go to wreck. He's not going outside on the yard. There's always officers out there standing around when we go to chow or anywhere else. So for the most part, he feels safe. A week goes by. We go to the store again and I'm walking with my homeboy, and we're walking. It's called the Boulevard. And the Boulevard is this long stretch of pavement, of a sidewalk that goes between all these different buildings, and then it branches off to your building. When you're walking that strip headed to the chow hall, they call that the Boulevard. I'm coming back down the Boulevard with my commissary, and we go every week. This dude has got his, and I told you they had moved into another building. I look over, and as he's walking, I see like 5, 6 people behind him. And they're walking faster than he is. He's caught up in a conversation with 2 other dudes, really not paying attention, thinking shit's sweet. This dude ain't been locked up maybe 2 years. He's a green bean, greenhorn. You know what I mean? He's a newbie. He just don't know what's going down. He turns left, goes to his building. These guys turn left. Before he can get to his building, they're on him. There's no guards around at this point because they're up at commissary and they're inside the buildings. And they've got him in front of the building, and they are just going at his ass, stomping him. I mean, at first it was them fighting him and him trying to run, and then it got to the point where one of them clipped him, he hit the ground, and then everybody's stomping him. And there's so many people jumping him that they can't really do the things they want to do to him because of how many people there is. They get his bag. The officers see what's going on. They see him getting jumped. They see the one guy take the bag, take off running. He runs to his building with the bag. Another officer goes after him. They go in the building, bring the guy back out, bring the commissary back out, and they lock all these boys up. All these boys just got, regardless of what amount of time they got, these officers just witnessed them rob this other man. So that is a robbery charge. He would end up being shipped up off of there after he healed up and left medical. He was in medical for a while, getting his stitches, before he could be released to the hole, for his stitches to all heal up, waiting on his eyes to open up again. They did him dirty. They had him for a good 2-3 minutes, just, attacking him before it was over. This was a lower custody prison. I didn't expect to see things like this at this place, but I need to explain something to y'all because people have a misconception of high custody, minimum, lower custody, all these things. Yes, at maxes, super maxes, it is most definitely going to be more violent because you've got more guys and they're convicted of violent charges. But just because a guy is at a medium custody facility for selling drugs or possession of a gun or whatever you want to, whatever charge you may have, does not mean that he doesn't get violent. It just means that's what he got caught for. For all you know, this guy could have been a killer in the streets. He could have 5, 6 bodies he's responsible for, but he just got caught for selling dope. I've met a lot of guys like that. Next one I'm going to give y'all is on a dude named Big J. And Big J was my dude, man. Big J's from Richmond. Big J, if you see this, shout out to you. We talked about you bouncing and stuff. Hit me up. Big J was blood. Big J was nice with his hands. Dudes did not want to see him on the one-on-one with the knuckle game. Didn't. You could dust your ass off. Now, he wasn't the big Debo type. He was more the tall, athletic type. Maybe 6'2", stocky. Looked more like a sports player. You know what I mean? Big J was blood. Big J had some rank. And then another high-ranking blood shows up where we're at and starts trying to call shots. And Jay ain't feeling it. Jay's not agreeing with the stuff that this dude is saying, the stuff he wants these dudes to do. He's not feeling it, and he's not rocking with it. This dude thinks he's going to boss Jay around and tell him, you need to do this, you need to do that, just because he showed up. Like I told you, first of all, what he was asking the dude to do was going to cause a lot of problems for them. A whole lot. It was going to cause them to lose a lot of their numbers because a lot of guys were going to go to the hole. This guy wanted to turn up the extorting, This guy wanted dudes to start stealing. This, this new blood dude wanted dudes to be robbing. Like, he was on some stab him, beat him up shit. He just wanted to cause havoc and chaos. Just complete chaos. Jay tells him, nah, we ain't doing that. Now, you would think that since Jay had been there so long and that he was running things before this dude got there, that everybody else would fall in line and back Jay up. It's not how it happens. There's levels to this shit. There's ranks. Just like the military's got your sergeants, your lieutenants, your generals, your soldiers. It's the same thing with the gangs. Common knowledge. So this new dude gets all his little soldiers ready and tells them, we need to violate Jay. Jay tells her, come on, violate me. Send 3 of them. I'm gonna knock 3 of them out. Send me 3 of them. Don't nobody want no smoke with Jay, man. These dudes is arguing back and forth over who's going to set it off on Jay. And Jay don't give a shit. He's walking around every day. Told me several times. He said, I wish one of these motherfuckers would, man. He said, they ain't living like I'm living. Like, I will punish one of these dudes. We always know, and I've told you, it always ends bad, right? They can't get Jay on the yard because Jay's also got homeboys from Richmond that may not be blood affiliated. But those are his homeboys. He knows these dudes from the streets. They ain't gonna let it pop off like that. We're in the chow hall one day, and we're all sitting down eating, and the next building of guys comes in, and some guys are leaving, and as they're leaving, guys are getting their trays and sitting down, and as they're walking by Jay, it pops off. Bigger dude jumps over the rail and swings on Jay. Shoo. Jay had seen it coming. He dipped it, stood up, and hit man, and when he hit dude turned into the 10-man. You can understand what I'm saying. Dude went stiff. Whole body went stiff when Jay hit him, locked up, and he just fell over. Boom. They start crashing out. Dudes start running up on Jay, trying to attack Jay, trying to bang him up, do all these different things. And like I told y'all, Jay can fight. He is in there crushing these boys. He's taking them and slinging them over tables. He's hitting them one time and hitting them so hard that he's breaking shit in their faces. I seen him body shot a fat boy that was on the other side of the rail, a bigger blood dude. Just dude threw a punch. Jay dipped it. Like I told you, he's a trained fighter. He dipped it and hit dude in the ribs. Boom! And you heard everything inside his chest. His rib cage just snapped. Jay dropped him. Just went to dust on these dudes all. Boom, 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 boom. When it was all said and done, the officers didn't know what to do. They wasn't used to seeing, nobody handle their business like this. This is a trained fighter right here. When it's all said and done, you got dudes stretched out everywhere. Jay is standing there with his shirt ripped, his knuckles busted up bloody, and there are people laid out. The bloods that he didn't get his hands on are all backed into a corner looking like, fuck, man, what are we going to do? And what they messed up is, instead of just attacking him out in the open, there's a rail that you have to walk around, like a little guardrail that leads you as you follow it. And then there's the wall, and then there's a guardrail. It goes around and it goes to, where you get your food from. Had they attacked him out in the open, just walked up on him, they might have had a chance. But they were trying to attack him over this rail, so it kind of put a barrier between them. The rail's only like 4 foot tall. So they're on one side of the rail, Jay's on the other, and as they're trying to come over the rail, Jay is just plucking them off, like fish in a barrel. Fong, fong, fong. Jay fucked so many of these dudes up, man, that when the police came in, they locked all them dudes up and did not lock Big Jay up. They were kind of blown away like, yo, I cannot believe I just witnessed this dude go, Apollo Creed, Rocky Marciano. I mean, he just went total nuts in there and just smashed these dudes. Smashed his own gang. Just beat the hell out of them. And the main dude that was sending dudes at it got it the worst. That was the one that when he had put everybody else down and had them out of commission, that he just worked over, man. He had this dude upside the rail and just crushed him to the point that if y'all do think about coming back, you all better look at each other before y'all decide to do this shit again. Crazy, man. Complete chaos. That's some shit they need to catch on camera so you can watch and see one man that's got more heart and hands than anybody else handle his business. That's that made for TV type shit right there. Now, when it comes to gangs going to war with other gangs, it's not something that's common these days. It's not. They try to keep the peace. Because when that many people go at that many people, a lot of people can get hurt, people can get killed, and you're going to lose a lot of your dudes. If y'all are deep, y'all need y'all's numbers. That's how gangs operate, by numbers and fear. 2 people is not a gang. 200 people is a gang. You'll rumble 2 people. You can handle 2 people. You can't handle 200 people. So, for the most part, you wouldn't see Crips and Bloods beefing. If they did have a beef, they would figure it out internally. It wouldn't just be an all-out war. I've never seen any gang ever try to go at these MS-13 dudes. If there was any type of beef, that shit would get squashed immediately. But the one gang that just fought more than any other gang in there were the Bloods. You're going to hear me talk about it. You'll hear others talk about it. It's a fact. Now I'm going to give y'all a story on when they banged out. And I'm talking about all these Bloods banged out against all these other Bloods. So you might hear me say the word blood or Bloods and think that if, you're Blood, you're automatically all part of the same gang. Yes and no. There are different sets. You got all types of different organizations that are Blood, but they're different branches of the same tree. There was a time years ago, man, when I was a tattoo artist, and out of nowhere one day, this younger black dude comes to me and he's like, yo, I want this diamond tattooed on my eye. And I was like, diamond? He was like, yeah, like a diamond. Not like a diamond on a playing card, but like an actual diamond. I said, I bet. So I tattooed it on. I tattooed some initials above it. In the months to come, I'd say in the next 2 months, I started doing a lot of diamond tattoos. And in being a tattoo man, I've told y'all this too, people like to talk during tattoos. I think it takes your mind off the pain. So people are open up about all types of stuff. After about the second, third tattoo, I come to find out that these are mad stones. It's a chapter of the Bloods. It's just shown up here in Virginia. Dude has got some pull, showed up here on his compound. This is a major I'm on. And he is recruiting. And their numbers are growing fast. When I mean fast, you're talking 15, 20 people every few days get jumped and put down. And this is taking place week after week after week, from where it goes to you see 5 of them walking together, to you seeing 15 of them walking together, to 30 of them walking together, to 30 walking here, 20 walking here, 15 over there. Their numbers got huge quick. And the other Bloods weren't fucking with them. They felt like, from what I was hearing when I was tattooing, this was a fake set. Ain't nobody heard of y'all. You can't just show up one day, call yourself a Mad Stone Blood, and think that you're Blood. Like, ain't none of us heard nothing about no Mad Stone Bloods. We ain't accepting it. Prison talks. Prison's like a big soap opera. It's like a bitch that's drank too much coffee and ain't got nothing better to do than talk. Streets is talking. The prison is talking. It's going down. These dudes are not, we're not hearing that y'all are Blood, man. We're just not. You know what I mean? We put in work. Y'all don't just get to show up, claim to be Blood, start y'all's own chapter. The main dude is telling them, look, we from up north, man. You know what I mean? This is coming out of New York. Trust me, it's real. I'll get some paperwork down here. We'll get it figured out. I'll talk to my big homie and everything will link up and y'all know what it is. They wait around. They don't get no word. And I've told y'all, when shit's about to go down, you can always tell. It's like you can cut the tension in the air with a knife. It's just a different feeling. You get a feeling in your stomach. Everything that is usually taking place on the yard kind of changes up. You're used to seeing the same groups walk every day, the same dudes clicked up. But when all of a sudden you look over and you see what's usually groups that are split off into 5, 10, whatever, and you see them all in one group, and then you look over here and you see this gang and they're all in one group, you know what's about to happen. It's about to be a war. Now, your monkey ass, your dumb ass is caught up outside in the middle of all this and ain't got nothing to do with it. But in times of war, it doesn't matter if you have anything to do with it. One of your homeboys, somebody you care about, a friend of yours might get caught up in it, and then you're in it. You might somehow have beef with one of these dudes that gives them the opportunity to attack you. We notice it going on. I tell my homeboys, I say, we need to strap up, man. I don't know what's going on, but it's about to get crazy out here. It's about to get live. They're seasoned vets. They already know. They done peep game. So we go to our little hiding spots where we got our knives, dig our knives up, and we post up. We go to the other end of the field, to the rec yard where nobody's at, with my little squad of dudes. And my dudes are certified. DOCTV813, shout out to him, said something the other day. He said, I'd rather have 4 quarters than a whole bunch of pennies. And that's what my homeboys were, if you want to break it down like that. They were solid. The strength and solid dudes. I'd rather have a couple dudes that I know go hard than a bunch of dudes that, you know what I mean? They called for rec to end, for everybody to come in from the yard. And the one dude that had told everybody, you know, this is a valid chapter, blah, blah, blah. The guy that was recruiting everybody is going through the back door of the building, going back in his pod from the rec yard, and everything just jumps off. These dudes start running in all directions, run up on him, grab him by his shirt, and just start stabbing. He's got a knife he pulls out, and dude was straight gangster with it. He had been stabbed up a bunch of times, but it was almost like he didn't care. You know what I mean? In that moment there, you don't get a chance to try to retreat or run away. You better fight, and you better fight for your life, or you just might die today. And that's what dude did. They're stabbing him. He's grabbing and stabbing anybody in his proximity. You got dudes that ain't even gang related trying to go to the door that are getting caught up in this, getting hit, getting punched, trampled. His homeboys have come up, you know, these mad stone bloods have come up, and they're banging out with these other bloods, man. It is a full-fledged, just everybody versus everybody if you're gang related. And then there's a bunch of dudes that aren't in it that are getting caught up because they're in the middle of it. This would take place and go on for 3-4 minutes, man. You got dudes walking around with their shirts off, stabbed up, bleeding everywhere. They got their shirt, you know, wrapped around their arms. They got the knife in their hand, so they're running up, and they're kind of using that shirt as some padding, so if they take a blow, they can take it in the forearm and start stabbing. They come out there. When the goon squad comes, they come. People can talk that we ain't scared of the police. They don't run shit. It's real weird that when they show up, everybody listens. They shoot a shot from the tower to warn everybody. You got a guard in the tower with an AR-15. Fire! Lets the shot off, hits the siren. Everybody down. We all drop. All of us that aren't related to this don't have anything going on. You still got these dudes banging it out. Knife play. A lot of them ain't got knives, and they're just running up, swinging, boom, punch somebody. Might run up, knock somebody out. There was dudes stretched out, knocked out, at least 4 I seen throughout the crowd, just laying there on their side, stiff. They might have been faking, but to me, they look knocked out. You had dudes just run up and rock off. Boom! And they might get stabbed in the shoulders, they run away. You got several dudes that are just face to face with each other, just, you know, kind of pacing, going at it. When this goon squad comes out and they come, everybody slowly starts dropping the knives. Dudes are throwing the knives. Dudes are trying to run around the other side of the building to blend in with people over there. But the tower's watching everybody. But it's so many people, they can't see everything. They locked so many people up that they came out on the yard with zip ties. Not handcuffs. Zip ties, big black zip ties. Had everybody that and the guard from the tower was calling back over the microphone, telling them, yep, him. If you got a stab wound, you got blood on you, you got knots on your head, your shirt's ripped, you're gone. Right then and there, they backed up these prison buses. They pulled these prison buses outside the third fence, went all the way to the end to this double fence, ungated it, backed these buses up, and was picking these dudes straight up off the ground, zip tied, and loading them straight onto the bus. Filling the buses up with all these gang members that just had this major riot, this major bang out on the yard, right? We get back into the pod, and we already know once we get back into our housing unit, it is locked down. We ain't gonna see the light of day till God knows when. They done discovered a lot of weapons. Medical is overwhelmed by all the stabbings. They're having to bring in nurses and doctors from the outside, from Southside Regional Hospital, which is in Emporia, Virginia, right up the street. You know, private care people to come in and try to deal with all these stabbings and stab wounds, right? They come in and they shake us down. They are tearing ourselves apart looking for weapons. They have torn the pod apart. They have torn the ice machine apart, the microwave. They have checked everything, everywhere. And of course, they're not going to find them all. They found a bunch. They've taken everything. So now if you got contraband porno pictures, you just lost them. Say you bought a TV off the yard from somebody that ain't got your name on it. Because of what they did, you just lost it. It gets crazier. The main blood dude that told them to go ahead and attack, he slid through the cracks that day. Not the one that was with the new gang, but the one that told them to set it off with the new gang. He slid through. He didn't get locked up. The guard in the tower didn't pick him out the crowd. He didn't have no damage sustained to him. He's a heavy hitter, you know what I mean? He's in the cell, and I knew the code enough to understand what was going on and what was being said. And while we're on lock, he gets a kite. Gets a kite from somebody higher up. And the kite is along the lines of, leave them boys alone, they're valid. They coming out of New York. Mad Stone Blood is a real thing. Let them do their thing. Embrace them. By now, they've all attacked. They've all been attacked. It's a straight war. How do you call that off from in a cell? The crazy thing is, there's 3 more parts of this prison that house about 1,200 inmates on each side. S1, S2, and S3. And while it's taking place over here, it's starting to pop off and take place over there. But the guy that's got the kite that knows that this shit is legit and it's real is locked in a cell in my pod. He can't tell him to stop, don't do that. So we're hearing through the grapevine, they're shaking us down. All of a sudden, officers take off running out the pod because they're running to the other side of the compound because what's already happened here is now happening over there. This stuff lasted for the better part of probably a month, man. Non-stop attacks. And then just like that, it stopped. They called a meeting. All of them went out in the yard, what was left of them. And by then, they done recruited a whole bunch more. They dapped up. And as far as prison could go, everything went back to normal. Now, I'm going to jump out of here with that story. I have a lot of stories like this. If y'all like me, let me know. One thing I will never say is that them blood dudes didn't go hard. They did things at times I didn't agree with. I saw them do things I didn't like. But I can't say that, you know, in that situation right there, they didn't go hard. They went dumb hard. This was like, I mean, it's not like anything you've ever seen on a video. If you've seen these prison riot videos, it was nothing like that. This was just so many people that it was hard to keep focus on what was going on. The only thing you could do is, if you weren't involved, was stay back and just watch it unfold. And if it spills over into your lane, get it out your lane and deal with it as fast as possible. That's why I tell y'all, stay out of prison. It's a terrifying feeling when you know everybody around you has got a knife and that maybe you got problems with some of these guys. You done fought a couple of these guys in the past. Y'all don't see eye to eye. You know they're getting ready to go to war over there, but if he wants to, he could run up right now. Now is his time, the perfect time to deal with you. Because when there's that many people fighting and stabbing, how can you, you know, if you get stabbed up, who are they going to blame it on? Who did it? So many people got stabbed, so many people had knives. Who did it? You might lay out there and bleed out and die. So I tell y'all all the time, stay out of prison, stay out of jail, stay out of these institutions. Sit at home and pet your doggy. Enjoy using your remote and not having to fight over it. Don't worry about if somebody shows up to your house today. It's going to be an all-out war. Live your best life. Leave that life for the people that like that type of shit, haven't grown up, ain't going to grow up, or just don't understand how precious and valuable life is. Me, I've been through enough of it. I don't ever want to see it again. But y'all know, man, these prisons, jails, detention centers, these institutions, they're all just crazier worlds inside of this already crazy world we live in. And as always, y'all know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? And like always, this is Jay Williams. Let's live life. To all my real ones, there are some real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. Y'all know how we do, man. Salute.